The DESA impact has really shifted our mindset on how we manage certain situations.
We can sit in a counseling session, we can look at the 5 competencies and see where we're at. Where are we at right now? How are we doing with social awareness? How are we doing with self-management?
Because we can look at their T-scores together, we can look at what areas of growth, the areas they need in growth, and we can turn those into counseling goals.
Most of the questions on the DESA screener allowed me to think about how I design my lesson plans, particularly how do I engage with others, especially my students, and how do the students engage with themselves and their peers as well.
We are looking to do more restorative practices in our school. We are also looking to see how we deal with any adverse behavior.
So it helps us as like a scale to reflect back to so that we know where are we moving toward and where are we now.
The DESA tool allows me to understand where opportunities for learning social and emotional skills lie with each individual student.
Because unlike other assessments, this assessment is solely around empowering student voice and activating student voice around their socio-emotional competencies.
What I've done is I've kind of used the Aperture DESA, whether it's the full DESA or the mini DESA, as an opportunity to spend more time in the classroom doing observation.
I would say be open to all of the information it can provide, really work together collaboratively as a team to look at the results. It also really helped us identify which students could benefit from additional small group instruction.
The DESA has allowed us to be much more focused on what particular groups of students need.
And so that data, when we see that we're seeing high trends in particular behaviors or particular competencies, then we can pull from that SEL toolkit.
Because if the students are having trouble with any of the competencies or and the data is not going well, it's about me and not about them. And it means that they have a deficit in that space, and so I need to figure out a way to teach them that better.
We've had very broad conversations before, but being able to do it through this platform and more specifically think about them really has been able to give kids more of a targeted goal and give us more of a targeted focus for what they need to do and how we can help them grow.
This actually gives the teachers, the tools to be able to support their students in the classroom. So really help them with their tier 1 management, strategies.
And I think that's the power here of having that data and saying, all right, this is what we're seeing, cool, what can we do? And then having practitioners sit together, not just our teachers, our associate teachers, our social workers, even a nurse, our family engagement director, having people sit around and talk about, all right, this is what we noticed. Let's try some different things to see what happens. And if the magic is that young people grow their ability to build relationships, then I think that that's a great win for the young people.
The DESA has been great. We were able to use the data to target to help our target kids and really align the behaviors that we need to focus on.
Our principal hired an additional 2 guidance counselors, and that has been a help so that they can target the individuals needed through those results.
So DESA is great because you're able to get a quick snapshot, screenshot of students who have challenges with social and emotional learning.
We might have a student, for example, who maybe is a little hesitant, maybe is defiant, but the DESA questions gives us more specific information on why, but then how to help that student.
The students that scored low on DESA, we generated a list of names. We meet once a week typically, and we talk about depending on what they needed.
When I looked at my DESA data, we're a small school. There were about 48 students who were showing as in need of additional support. My support services team, they meet once a week. In their meeting, they were able to look at those students and say, okay, let's look at each individual student.
The DESA has been helpful and impactful in our school community because it provides us with concrete data. Before, we used to talk about students in kind of school-based verbiage and jargon that made sense to us, but it was just about kind of how we felt.
You're trying to identify what are 9th graders struggling with right now? Where do we need to target our advisory lessons based on what we're seeing? What are the 12th graders really having a hard time with? Where do we see strengths that maybe we could balance off with between the different grades?
So it helped us move our conversations from, oh, well, I think this student does this, and oh, well, I don't like this student. We're able to actually use terminology that is known nationwide, but also be able to take and remove ourselves and our personal feelings from the actual kind of movements of our our students and the behaviors they're exhibiting, and we're able to ground it in these terms and these competencies.
So we really kind of take it as a big, zoom out and look at trends across the building to kind of inform what we do for our social emotional learning.
High school students need to learn social emotional skills because they are 4 years away from becoming actual adults.